Welcome back, everybody. As you can kind of see, I have started my Halloween decorating inside for the year, and I have not yet touched the fireplace because, as you know, I like to save that for you guys and we can do it together. And like every year, I pick an inspiration piece, usually from a magazine or a website or something that I found during the year. And this year, that inspiration comes from the Spirit website. I found this picture online, and it kind of gave me that fortune teller vibe with that ram skull, and I like the bird cage and the height of the floral piece in there. So we're going to do our own little spin on that. It's going to look similar. I'm not in some of the past displays, I've tried to really get it awfully close to the inspiration design. This year it's just going to be more of my take on it. I'm going to use a lot of the props that we've sort of collected throughout the season and in the past years. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we got to do is clear off this little bit of stuff on the mantelpiece. All right, the first thing that we have to deal with is this large picture above the fireplace. Now, I had debated swapping it out. I usually like to swap out all the pictures in my display. This year, I've used a lot of tarot cards. I've done that in a previous display in the kitchen, but I just don't have anything big enough for this area. So the simple thing to do to disguise these unwanted niceties is just throw some creepy cloth over it. And this is a good tip for basically any of your artwork that you don't want to swap out. Throw some creepy cloth over it. It gives it a nice little spooky effect. There we go, quick and easy. I might even tuck a little spider into there just to give it a little extra oomph. So the main focal point of the fireplace is going to be this flashing palm reader sign. I got this at Lowe's several years ago. It was about $40 when I bought it new, but I've gotten a lot of use out of it. I put it in a couple of different displays. It actually worked pretty good in an upstairs window when I had nothing to put there and I just wanted to give it some sort of visual interest from the street. But now we are going to put it up here on the fireplace. Of course, it has two hangers on it that aren't really going to go into the brick. So I'm going to go in the garage, find something, maybe a long screw or something that can go through the hole and just sort of nudge itself into the bricks to hold it in place. Okay, there we go. That was pretty easy. Let's hope it still works. Success. It's always a little bit hard disguising the cord. I'm hoping the mantle scarf will do a little bit of that. Let's go ahead and put that on next, but I'm going to unplug it for now just so it's not blinking in our face. The mantle scarf I got was new this year. I've had one for years that I put on here. I think it just kind of looked like spider webs. But since I'm doing the fortune teller theme, I got this one that particularly has some sun and moons, or maybe it's just moons in there. I don't know. I think it's sun and moons. And some fringe, and it just looks a little more like a psychic would own this. Okay, offhand, I'm thinking this is smaller than I was anticipating. The one I had in the past was very large. It wrapped around the mantle completely. Let's see how far this one will go. All right, that doesn't even cover the length of my mantle. I probably should have read the packaging. It does say it is only 60 inches. Obviously, I only looked at the picture, and when you look at the picture, it clearly wraps around this mantle and makes it seem like it is a lot bigger than it really is. They must have used a tiny little fireplace here. So I think what I'm going to do is get my old mantle scarf, put it on, and then maybe drape this in front of it. All right, so eventually I might do the alternate scarf. However, do you ever have too much stuff and you just can't remember where you put it? I had that mantle scarf not too long ago when I was organizing my closet upstairs, and I put it somewhere so it would be orderly and I'd know where it was, and of course now I've lost it and I have no clue. So creepy cloth again is going to come to our rescue, and I keep a giant bag of creepy cloth because I use so much of it. So let's just go ahead. I'm thinking maybe an alternate pattern so the black stands out against it. Let's just take a few bits of creepy cloth to cover up the edges too. All right, there we go. I don't love it, but it'll have to do for now. I didn't like the creepy cloth draping behind the black. I thought it made it much harder to see, even though it still is already pretty hard to see the design inside of this mantle scarf. But let's go ahead and start putting things up and see how it looks. Before I forget, the price of the scarf for the mantle from Spirit was $12.99. Obviously now I don't think that was a good deal. However, I think I got a better deal with the books, even though they were still pricey. These are my Faux Books from TJ Maxx. I love these sort of things. I get them as much as possible for my decorating. I like to use books in the decor. So just, I don't know, seems like an easy way to fill out any theme that I'm working with. They might have been a little pricey, so the larger books down here were $14.99 each. The medium-sized book was $12.99, and the smaller book was $6.99 for each one. And then I had a few more from years past, and even more that I put elsewhere in the display. So let's go ahead and just stick them up here for now. We're going to rearrange them here in a little bit. The other good thing about this is now I can pull the mantle scarf as far forward as possible, and these books are going to hold it in place. All right, so that's going to get us started there. Over here, let's see. The next thing I want to add are these bird cages from the Pop Shelf store. So I've got two of them. Here's a larger one, and it was, according to the tag that's still on it, $15. It's got spiders and bats on it. So let's go ahead and put that on top of our big boxes. And then I've got a smaller version as well that came from also the Pop Shelf store for $10. Inside him, I put a little black bird that I had. I know it's probably a little hard to see, but he is in there. He has been already attached to some stick that I used on some stick decor, which I'm going to put up here later. But he broke off. I left him on the stick because it helps him perch in his little new bird cage. Let's go ahead and stick him here on these smaller books. Bring them forward just a little bit. There we go. All right, I need you to let me know in the comments what I should put in the big bird cage. Originally, I thought I had this other black bird on top of a skull that was in, I used to have in a glass dome, and it just always looked cheesy to me because this skull is a little generic looking, but he fits pretty well in the cage. The other option I have here is the owl that I got from Target this year, and he was $5. But let's go ahead and start with the owl and see how that looks. I do like the owl. I am just a little concerned that everything's getting so dark. On this side of the fireplace, you know, in the inspiration picture, they had some sort of foliage in a vase, and I am just going to use these bare sticks. Now, on my first Halloween party that I haven't had in this house like 12 years ago, my neighbor brought over these sticks. They were painted black. They still are kind of black. And they were in this big glass vase. It was very nice of her. That's where that bird came from. It used to be attached. There were actually a lot more than this. And I've split them up and I've kept them here in my displays every year since then. I think I just like the way they look. And, you know, I've got a yard full of trees, so it would be easy to replace it, but I never have. I've just kept these. And if you think storing branches for use every year is challenging, you're right, it is. All right, so this vase came from that Pop Shelf store as well. I really like the spider web motif it has on it. All right, let's find the price here. And it was $10 as well. So let's go ahead and put this just here on the side. There's just something about a bunch of dead branches that I find really creepy. Let's go ahead and fill in some of this extra space now with some candles. If these candlesticks look vaguely familiar, I did use them a few years ago also on my mantelpiece when I did a witch theme, and I thought that looked pretty neat. So I have just kept them in the closet again, and here we are bringing them out a few years later. One thing different that I'm thinking I might do is core out the center of these candles. If you use a Forstner bit, you can just drill right in there, just heat it up first. I do it all the time with a lot of these candles. to be able to put a fake tea light in there. I was a little unsure of doing that originally because the color of these, if you put in a tea light candle, obviously it's going to be noticeable on top because it'll be white or whatever color you could color it. But I'm not really going to have that problem because you can't see the tops of these candles. But at the same time, because these are such thick candles, I'm not sure you'd see the glow anyway. Not sure if it's really worth doing. So I'm thinking I might just leave them unlit candles. Of course, the main focal point of our inspiration piece was the ram's head. So they had a really elegant looking one in their picture. I have this one from Spirit that cost me $19.99, and I found the exact same one at a different store later for like $10. It is what it is. But use your coupons if you're going to go buy anything from Spirit. Let's see if we can just perch him right here. There we go. I think that looks fantastic. Now, the inspiration piece also did have lights behind this. It kind of lit it up. Might try that, but we have to do something down here at the bottom as well. For that, I'm just going to go back up to my closet, find some stuff from my old witch display probably, and put it in here. I had thought about putting that man-eating plant from Michael's at one side. Now I'm not so sure. It's a little tall anyway. Now I don't think it's even going to fit. Let me go see what I can rummage up. All right, I decided to put the cauldrons on one side of the fireplace. I've done that several times. It just works well in front of a fireplace, I think. On the other side, I did go with the witch's broom, the books, and the hat. The books go with everything. I guess this fortune teller is just going to be dabbling a little bit in the witchcraft. I did have a potion cabinet over here, so obviously she creates spells too. I guess she's kind of a little witch as well. So I think it all works. I did find a string of green lights that I'm not using that I can try and put behind the scarf. I'm not sure. I think I'd really prefer the purple, but let's go ahead and string them up and see what the green looks like. All right, I'm not really sure that the green adds much. Let me know, what do you think in the comments below? Should I take it out? Should I leave it? Should I change it to purple? I'm not really sure what to do. Let's go ahead and light up the sign and see how that looks. All right, there we go. We have a finished fortune teller fireplace. Let me go ahead and bring the camera in and we'll take a closer look. Again, starting at the top, we've got our creepy cloth, our blinking sign, the fireplace, and the hearth accents. So here we have our owl inside of the bird cage, the spirits and palmistry books, and again, just a random assortment of old candlesticks that I found at the Goodwill store. In this cage, we've got our blackbird. In fact, I think it needs to face a little bit forward. Let's go ahead and change that. Now we'll take those tags off later. All right, so we've got our palmistry guides, the ram's head, more books, and sticks and candles. Down toward the bottom, of course, we've got the broom, books with the witch's hat, and my cauldrons. Now I might put the trick-or-treat candy inside there. I usually do. The mantle scarf itself, you can kind of see, has the sun and the moon designs in them. It's very hard to see though. The fireplace is only the start. I've got lots more decorating to do here and around the house. I'm not going to do more individual videos like this, but we will be doing a walkthrough soon, so stay tuned for that. Before we go, I did want to say a special thank you to all the patrons who help support the channel. If you're interested in joining our Fright Club, you can check out the link to my Patreon page in the description below. So that's going to do it for today. Till next time, thanks for watching, everyone. Take care, and happy haunting.